Hey, Sooner fans, welcome back. It is Super Bowl weekend. I know. Rob's excited. His Chiefs are in the Super Bowl, so we'll dive into that a little bit. And there's a lot of Sooners in the Super Bowl, so we'll talk about that as well. So up next here on Champion Standard. Hey, Sooner fans, you're on Champion Standard here with Rob and Brad. We usually cover OU stuff, and we'll do it a little differently today, NFL style, with the Super Bowl this weekend. So, Kansas City and Philly are both littered with OU players. So we'll dive into that a little bit and just our kind of analysis of the game. Please subscribe. Appreciate all the subscribers out there. We've kind of had a tick up here lately. Really appreciate that, everyone, supporting the pod and our website. You can find us, of course, on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, just all the social networks. Yeah. And if you go to our website, I'll just send a reminder out there. Make sure you Google Champion Standard, one word. Otherwise, you'll get a whole bunch of toilets. I still think that's funny.
We need it. I know, I do too. We really need to approach them and get a sponsorship.
We need some kind of kickback.
I mean, yeah, I know, Champion Standard toilet flush system. I mean, it's pretty wild. We watch those videos. I mean, the toilet can drain like eight balls or whatever it was, and golf balls and stuff.
Right, pool balls or something like that. Yeah.
If we get them to be a sponsor, that'd be pretty funny. I think that would be funny. Let's lean into it. I don't mind it.
Okay, fair enough. Speaking of sponsors, I want to thank our couple of sponsors, Woodworks Distillery. Go check out the guys up north. All your bourbon and whiskey and gin and vodka. Go try them out. Great selection up there. And then your guys down in Norman, 9 East Liquor, around the corner there from Rudy's.
Next to Rudy's.
I'm sure you went and visited them this weekend for the Super Bowl to stock up a little bit. So
yeah, found myself a Woodworks rye, and then I got myself a Penelope barrel strength, just in case if the game goes south for me. And then I got another rye by Mitchers, which is another really good one. But yeah, I got a lot of friends and family coming over tomorrow, so I've got happy and I've got sad and depressed stages in case if it's really, really good, we've got champagne. I mean, we get into it.
Oh, nice. You probably have a lot of Chief friends, I'm assuming, as well. So.
Oh yeah. We've done this. It's been awesome the last several years as a Chiefs fan to watch. I mean, I'm not a bandwagon fan. It's so funny when I'm out and about and they're like, "Oh, I'm a Chiefs fan," and they just instantly go bandwagon. And I'm like, "No, man. I grew up, went through the dark ages. It was for me. I started to, when I was younger, to really understand and follow football just as the Chiefs got bad. Like Marty Schottenheimer got let go. Derek Thomas, I saw some games of him, but then he tragically passed away. So I just happened to
about that.
Yeah, and I just came to fully understand the game, and we were just terrible. We experiencing an entire season lost, gone over by season or by week 4. Week 4 or 5, you knew we weren't making the playoffs. And so that's why I got kind of into the draft, because I'm so into the draft, because it was that hopeful, maybe the Chiefs can turn it around. Maybe we can get some players and make us better. But then we would draft really, really bad year in and year out. So
you were at where I'm at right now with my Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, yeah. Where it's just sort of the thing Dallas is different. Dallas,
Well,
you guys have
we have
drafted pretty well.
we have decent talent, yes.
I
Uh,
mean, Micah Parsons
no,
and
no, no,
Diggs and
no, we got some decent players, just lacking a difference maker at a couple of positions. I hate to
yeah,
pile on Dak, but we don't have to talk about Dallas. But yeah, I'm definitely, man. It's been 30 years. It's been 30 years for me since I've got to feel a Super Bowl win.
yeah,
So
it's a long
so yeah,
time.
it's hard for me to, I've been. You talked about bandwagon Chiefs fans. I've of course enjoyed watching them the last few years. Mahomes is just an entertaining guy to watch and stuff. So, uh, I like this Philadelphia team too. So that's hard for me to say as a Dallas fan. Any of
Mhm.
those NFC East rivals, it's hard for me to root for them. Just deep rooted
Sure,
over the years. So, yeah, Super Bowl is this 56? Is that right?
57.
57. Okay, thank you.
No,
I
no,
can't.
is it 57? I think.
I,
Wait, I think it's 50. Super Bowl
it's
59, isn't it?
something. Is it?
It's
Yeah,
LIX.
yeah, that's 59.
LIX. Yeah, that's 59.
Okay.
57. Super Bowl 57 was the last Eagles Super Bowl,
Okay.
which I just rewatched this morning. Ooh,
Yeah.
that was a game.
Yeah.
Eagles had us dead to rights, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
they had the ball at the mid half point, middle of the field, and Hurts just hit the ball with his knee, and then Chiefs scooped and scored and kept him in it, and then Eagles come back and score another 10, and the Chiefs just Kadarius Toney's punt
Mhm.
return. I
Mhm.
mean, that was a wild game. It was a
It
wild game.
was. It
But you
was.
remember
Yeah.
the narrative after that game was about the field being too wet. You remember the field was soaked and players were slipping all over the field and their pants and their jerseys were just soaked.
Mm.
And a lot of people, the Philadelphia fans, said that the NFL had did it on purpose to slow down all the pass rushers on the Philly side.
Mm.
You remember our left tackle was Orlando Brown. Chiefs left tackle
Mhm.
was Orlando Brown,
Mhm.
who's kind of a heavy-footed guy. A lot of people were talking leading up was how is he going to be able to slow down Nolan Smith and some of these other pass rushers and
Right.
Viola wet field. So I don't think we're going to have a wet field in a dome now this time. So
No, no. Turf can have its own. Um, you can slip around on turf a lot of times as well. But
yeah,
yeah. So since you called the Sooner Bowl, we just got done. We were figuring out who was playing in the game. We said 7 active guys, 8 if you count a guy on IR. So what did we say?
yeah,
Jalen Hurts, Lane Johnson, Samaje
hmm
Perine.
yep.
Um, yeah, help me out. There's 4 others here.
Oh, Creed, right?
Oh, yep.
Winchester, James Winchester's a long snapper for the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
And then so we
Wanye Morris, Samaje
Wanye
Perine.
Morris and some yep. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good crop. It's a good crop of players. And a couple I mean for the Eagles side, let's focus on the Eagles side and let's go ahead and dive into Hurts. Hurts is kind of in this spot in the NFL where he's borderline elite. Like would you say he's elite or would you say he's just outside of it?
Man.
Cuz there's a
Yeah, I don't.
lot of great quarterbacks.
Yeah, and yeah, I wish we had a marker that said, okay, these guys are elite because
Mhm.
I don't know. Is So you're just saying quarterbacks, right?
Just quarterbacks. Where does he kind of rank
Goodness.
there?
Yeah. Man, I don't know. I would say elite because let's say
Oh.
there's 30 teams.
Yeah.
So would you say the upper 5 are elite?
Yes. I would say the
And
top 5 are probably
he's
elite
right
and
there.
then
You could put him 5th and not like
yeah.
lose a lot of sleep over it, right? So
Yeah.
you
But
got
he would be
Lamar, you
what
got
at 5?
Josh Allen, Mahomes is he's
Burrow.
you got to put him third or fourth, right?
Yeah,
Always, just in a given year.
right.
Who else? Who else am I missing?
Burrow,
Oh,
Joe
yeah,
Burrow.
Burrow. So
He's
I
a
put
pretty good one.
Jalen fifth.
And then you got Kyler. Kyler's a pretty good quarterback too, just on
Yeah,
a
yeah.
franchise.
Baker made a nice run this year
Baker,
too. So yeah, I could. Yeah, he is. You're right. I think he teeters on the elite and just very good.
yes.
Yeah.
And so with him kind of teetering there, his legacy that he's building in the NFL, trying to get to Canton, get that gold jacket. There was another quarterback that kind of teetered there between elite and not so elite, but because of big Super Bowl wins, making history, preventing history really, got him to Canton. Do you know who I'm talking about?
You said preventing history.
Preventing history.
Oh my gosh.
On a teeter, you would not think this quarterback is elite. Like I wouldn't, but he's going to end up getting to Canton. And if it wasn't for winning a couple Super Bowls, but one particular where he prevented history in the making, it propelled him into that Hall of Fame,
Eli
or
Manning.
will be. Eli Manning. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
kind of see the two of them kind of similar where Jalen's Eli was just not. No one ever really said like there was always debate. Was Eli elite? Because when he got into the Super Bowl, he just won. Jalen's been there once, but Jalen has something that he could do tomorrow, and that is prevent history.
Yeah.
Chiefs are trying to go after a three-peat, and he has an opportunity of preventing something like that will forever be stamped on his legacy that I won this Super Bowl
Mhm.
against one of the best franchises that were trying to do something special. I was the reason why they didn't get it. I ruined it. I took it from them. That's a pretty strong statement, and he's going to
It
have
is.
to have a big game.
Yeah. No, I agree. Jalen with me, and I've talked about this on our podcast before. You know, I like quarterbacks that are animated on the sidelines or getting in guys' faces. That's why I've always appreciated, whether it's Mahomes, whether it's Mayfield, whether I just like the animated guys. And
Mhm.
Manning's gotten in his offensive line faces before too.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
uh, Jalen's just very
Brady.
sleepy. Yeah, Jalen's very
Yeah.
sleepy on the sideline
Yeah.
sometimes. He'll just go sit on the bench and looks like he's just watching a movie, during the game.
Yeah.
um, I just like the guys that show some emotion because I think that spills over, to the rest of the guys and just, gives that extra
Yeah.
whatever you want to call it. So, uh, him and AJ Brown are just very quiet kind of guys.
AJ
No,
Brown's quiet.
AJ's not. AJ's not. I'm just saying I like the guys that are raw. You see Kelsey walking around on the sidelines. Hell, didn't he push Reed a couple of years ago or get
Yes,
bump
he
up
did.
against him or something? Was that during the Super
No,
Bowl last year
no,
against
Kelsey
the
legit.
Niners?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kelsey
Give me
legit
the damn
pushed.
ball.
He did. He did. And there was people
So,
like it had to answer it in the press conference and everything. Like for almost a week they talked about the push,
yeah. Yeah. Since we're kind of on the topic of uh Eagles, and yeah, you're dead on, Jalen's just sneaky good.
Mhm.
Um, but I think the Chiefs in general have had a quiet, sneaky season because you've had the Chiefs that hell they lost one game and they would have went 17-1 had they not rest players. Um,
Yeah.
or 16-1. I'm sorry, there's only 17 games, but the Eagles have just been kind of quiet because Detroit was a big story. Them and
Mhm.
Minnesota both had best records, there for a while, and so they've been kind of the third team that's just quietly been playing great football. And
Yeah.
honestly, since we're talking Eagles and we talked Hurts, I want to talk about Saquon Barkley because he's by far my favorite. He was on my fantasy roster. Just a, I think I'm going to say he's the best player on the field, and you can argue with me. He's definitely the best athlete on the field, but I think he
Hmm.
may be the best player on the field in this Super Bowl this
Wow.
year.
Okay.
and and many people, especially the Mahomes fans, will be like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah,
Um,
that's me. What are you talking about?
exactly. But you can see it. I mean, the guy's just uber athletic,
He is.
speed, elusiveness. 2 plays this year I've seen him make. The backwards hurdle jump thing was just
So
crazy.
stupid.
I'd never seen it. It
It's
was stupid, but
so
my gosh,
oh my gosh.
that's from
Oh,
years of
wild.
box jumps. Just standing
Yeah.
there doing box jumps. That's what
Yeah.
that is. Just
Yeah, it
instinct
is.
and
Yeah.
just boom. And then he had that play. Was it the first or second round of the playoffs this year where he just shook tacklers and went for 60 yards? And you're like, man, that
Mhm.
guy's something else. And he should have set the single season record if he would have just played that last game. He could have broke that Eric Dickerson
Yeah.
record, but the
Yeah.
guy's just, he doesn't care, man. He just
Nah.
wants the trophy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I like good rushing teams. They're always fun. I mean, run the damn ball is like a theme of mine. And I do like all those highlights of Saquon, but dang, that opening playoff game where he ran wild. I mean, the Philadelphia Eagles just took a West Coast team and threw them in a winter storm and just ran it down their throat. I'm not sure. Historically speaking, Chiefs defense has always really struggled against the run. If you go back like 5 or 6 years ago, it was the Achilles heel. They just could not
Hmm.
stop it. Derrick Henry of the Titans would just run through them. I remember I was in Arrowhead actually not maybe 2 3 years ago and watched Derrick Henry do it again. Just ran for like 200 yards on him. I'm hoping the last couple years we've brought in some really great run like Pinnell and Wharton are really good at stopping the run. They did it
Hmm.
last Super Bowl against Christian McCaffrey, but Christian McCaffrey also was kind of handicapped with Brock Purdy. This Eagles team with the dual rushing threat of Barkley and Hurts, they just make each other better at rushing the football. Is Hurts healthy? Is he ready for a bang bang game? Barkley is. That's a lot. I think the Eagles, if I'm looking at this right, they're they're dead last in the NFL in pass rate. So they're gonna end up running they're gonna end up running the ball a lot. The Chiefs are gonna have to be which I remember I told you that in the Chiefs playoff run, I was worried about the Ravens and Derrick Henry getting in because again, the strength of the Chiefs defense is pass rush. And the best kryptonite against pass rush is a run game. If
Right.
you stay balanced and you get out of those 3rd and 7s and it's more like 3rd and 4, 3rd and 2, it's a long day in the office for a defense. So
Hmm.
as we approach as we approach tomorrow, the Philadelphia rush attack and the
Hmm.
commitment to run the
Hmm.
ball
Hmm. Hmm.
becomes more and more of a concern for a Chiefs fan.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, it's just very potent, just from what you said. I mean, just that dual threat hurts Barkley's just,
Mhm.
and you got to keep him out of third and fourth and short because that tush
Push
push is
push.
just
Yep.
brutal, man. I mean, you
Yeah.
can put 9. I don't care how you can put as many guys you want up there. You can't defend just this mass of bodies.
Yeah.
Just you know,
Well,
that's ridiculous, man.
Jalen Hurts, I think he like squats like 750 pounds or some crazy number. He power
It
cleans like 600. Like
yeah,
he's a
yeah,
quarterback that's built like a lineman. So like he's
yeah.
he's gonna fall forward no matter what. I mean, and then you get another guy that could push him in the back to get
Yeah,
you that yard.
you get
Oh,
a
tush push.
Goddard coming in there, just
Yes.
pushing him from behind or something. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I think the Eagles here, I have it right here. They're the number one rushing EPA team in the league, and they're dead last in pass rate. So they're just gonna run the ball like crazy, and they've
Mhm,
got a great offensive line led by
mhm,
another Sooner, Lane Johnson.
yeah,
I mean, Lane Johnson's story is still. I'm just admired the guy. He went from tight end nobody to working his way onto the field at OU, getting coached up, and then gets to the Eagles, and he's been the biggest best right tackle in the game in the NFL for nearly a decade now, right? I mean, he's been in the league for 10 years, I think, at least, right?
Yeah, yeah, no, that sounds right. At least, and you're right. That Chiefs are going to have to shut down their rushing game. I think it's one of those deals where you mentioned the pass rate with the Eagles. Them being toward the bottom in the league. Um, I think with that rushing attack, that hurts Saquon rushing attack. I think the Eagles will also try to get Goddard involved early. I think he could end up having a pretty big game for them. So if they can get that short passing game rolling along with the rushing game, if they loosen up, start letting those safeties creep up just a little bit for KC, I think that's where Brown and Devontae come into play, and you can go over the
Yeah.
top every now and then. So it'll be
Yeah.
interesting to watch this first quarter just to see just what we talked about. Does that running game get going, or the Chiefs able to neutralize it a little bit? But yeah, Eagles are Eagles are definitely scary on paper, and we haven't even talked about their defense.
Yeah. Yeah. But to finish up on the offense, you've got
Hmm.
Hurts, Sooner running the football, Lane Johnson, one of the best right tackles, Sooner,
Hmm.
big time run the football right tackle. The success of that Eagles offense is going to go through those two. They're two. I mean, you can't get any bigger of a pillar than your quarterback, but Lane Johnson is now like the veteran of that offensive line, and he's been through at least two Super Bowls. I think he's been through four, right? Because he's had Nick
That,
Foles and Hurts
oh
twice,
yeah,
so this would be
he did do the
his
Foles thing.
third. So like he's a veteran, and I mean, if you're talking about veteran guys and offensive line, I mean, Eagles offense needs those two guys to have a great game, without question.
Yeah, you mentioned, and this all I'll say about Saquon, but he played the Rams twice this year, and I don't have the stats here in front of me, but it was something like 300 yards against them for both games. He ran for 200 or had 200 all-purpose yards, something like that in the playoff game.
Yeah,
So just
yeah,
ridiculous stats against that Rams defense this year. So
yeah, and the Chiefs' run defense has been middle of the pack. Like it's been better. It used to be in like the 28s and 25s for years, and over the years they've gotten a little bit better. They sit there in the middle of the pack. So if the Chiefs can slow down the run game and get in some better scenarios for their pass rushers to tee off, because
mhm.
this is by far the best pass rushing Chiefs team I've seen ever. They have so many pass rushers, but besides Chris Jones
Mhm.
and Wharton and Pinnell, who are not pass rushers, they're the interior defensive linemen. Those three are the only like run stopping like defensive linemen that they've got. Their edges, like Carl Loftus is okay. The other edge, Charles Mwayu, former Longhorn, he's okay. And that's where that battle on that with Jordan Mailata and Lane Johnson and that run game is going to be so pivotal.
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree. Uh, Chiefs have been riding their D this year. Um, if we want to
Yeah,
if we want to segue over to the Chiefs,
sure.
um, yeah, they've been riding their defense this year. I think they've only got one or two 30-point games this year. You can, I don't have that in
I
front of me,
think
but
they
not many.
just no, not many. They had one against the Bills this last playoff game, which was I think 32-25, something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
But they have so going into the season, they've had to rely on Xavier Worthy to push the ball downfield, a rookie receiver. They lost Rasheed Rice, they lost Hollywood Brown, and then they went into the season with an aging tight end, gold jacket tight end, and Travis
Mhm.
Kelsey and Xavier Worthy. And they acquired DeAndre halfway through the season, but It's now that they're peaking on offense because everyone is finally healthy. We have not seen the best game from the Chiefs this year. And that's pretty scary when they went 15-2 and they locked up the first round before the last game of the year and they could rest everybody. So
Right.
that is, if you're looking at the Chiefs side, we haven't even seen what this could look like. We have been waiting for it, and they went through the year with 17 games, 17 wins by one score, and broke the NFL record this year, and they weren't even healthy to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And we might have saw, Philly's best game, their last game, rolling up 55 points on Washington. So yeah, this could be, that 1-2 years ago was kind of a back and forth scoring thing. I expect this to be a little more of a defensive battle. Not quite like that one, but if it did turn into that, it wouldn't completely shock me, just because Super
Yeah.
Bowls are kind of weird like that sometimes. But yeah, so yeah, Chiefs. We were talking about Philly's running game. I mean, the Chiefs' rushing game doesn't like get you thoroughly excited. They just try to do it, mix it in just enough, right?
Right. Their offensive line has had some issues. So, left tackle spot has been a sore spot all year. They moved their left guard, Joe Thuney, to that left tackle spot. He's a veteran guy. He's been a guard his whole life. He's actually doing pretty well for a dude that moved to left tackle like 6 or 8 weeks ago. That is an area where the Eagles are going to test. If you look across the offensive line for the Chiefs and in the run game, size, they're not that big. I mean, you got Creed Humphrey as
Hmm.
your tip of your spear, and we want to talk about another Sooner that's on in this game that's going to be huge. Tip of the spear, Creed Humphrey setting the tone early and being physical. He's got a left guard, a backup left guard in Calindo, who is not the same athlete as Creed, and they're gonna have to move people. And you know who the Eagles have in the interior front? They have two of the biggest monsters I have ever seen in my life at defensive tackle with Jalen Carter and Jordan
And
Davis. They
yep,
are monsters. Creed Humphrey is going to be has to have a huge game. In the Super Bowl, he had a massive game with him and Trey Smith. They ran some center trap where he would trap across, like, basically, I would say trap, more like a buck sweep. Him and Trey Smith would pull. Him and the right tackle at the time was Andrew Wiley. They would pull together. I mean, he was pulling. He was out in space. He was he was pancaking people. He had a massive game in the Super Bowl 57 against the Eagles. He's gonna have to come big tomorrow because those two defensive tackles for the Eagles are just so good. They're
yeah,
so good.
yeah, yeah. So we've talked about everything, but the the X factors for the Chiefs, the
Hmm.
the three four-headed monster that's been rolling the last 4 years between Mahomes, Kelsey, Reed, and defensive coordinator.
Spagnuolo.
Thank you.
Spagnuolo.
Uh, yeah, exactly. Those four have just been the key pieces that have kept them together the last 5 or 6 years
Yeah,
and allowed them to go on this run. So yeah, those are
yeah,
the guys. Those are the guys. We can talk about everything else, but the guys that just have the ability to win when the stakes are the highest are those. So for me, we'll get into our predictions here in a little bit, but on paper, the Eagles look better, but it's that X factor thing. So
mhm,
that's the part I'm like, I can't just sit here and say, oh yeah, the Eagles are the overwhelming favorite, blah blah blah. But
yeah,
because those guys are standing on the other sidelines, like hold my beer, you don't know what you're talking about. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Hey, I will say that Mahomes, as great as he is, and of course he's going to be a Hall of Famer, and um, I do want to talk about where the Chiefs could rank if they win this weekend amongst dynasties. But Mahomes will not be the best quarterback in the stadium
Whoa.
because
Oh,
Tom Brady's calling the game.
oh my God. Get out of here. And I'm sure there's
Yeah,
a Pittsburgh Steeler that's watching right now that says, well, Terry Bradshaw's on the pregame. So,
right.
he's won 4 Super Bowls.
Yeah, no, he is not. Yeah, yeah. He's a Hall of Famer, but he's no Mahomes for sure.
Yeah.
So you mind if we get into the dynasty talk, or do you want to talk some more Chiefs?
Sure. I want to talk about what another Chief sooner. I mean, Perine.
Mm,
Perine. We've got Hunt, and the Chiefs have Hunt and Pacheco.
hmm
Perine does have a role on this team that's pretty important. He's kind of the third down guy. He's made some big plays. Go back to the Bills game. He had a fourth
hmm
down
hmm
catch. He
Clinched it.
kind of gets, yeah, he clinched it, and
Hmm
we've seen that as Sooner fans.
Sure.
It would not surprise me at all. We get split back, and the defense just completely forgets about him in the
Yeah.
flat for some big
Will route.
play, wheel route. I mean,
Yeah.
the dude is so, there's no moment big enough for him, man. And he does have a role in special teams too. He's had some good special teams plays as well. He's a great
hmm
willing blocker. He does a little bit
hmm
of everything for you. What an awesome little third. He's not little, but having a good third back. Uh, and if this is going to end up being a physical game, you're going to need as many running backs as possible. But I'm excited to see Perine. I'm really rooting for him to get a Super Bowl ring. Quick story. I was in Norman once at Chewy's getting some Mexican
Mm-hmm.
food, and I was sitting there waiting to. My wifey and I were sitting there waiting to get a table, and he steps up and he's standing right next to me with his big old beard, and I just turn and look, and I'm like, "Is that Samaje?" I'm like, "Samaje?" And he's like, "Hey." And we just had like a quick chat. Super nice guy. Shook his hand, just had a little, I think he at the time he was with oh my gosh. He was with, who did he get drafted to? It was before the Broncos. Oh, the Bengals. He was with the
Yeah.
Bengals.
Yeah.
He was with the Bengals with Joe Mixon. And so I was just like, hey, good luck with the Bengals. I'm a Chiefs fan. Can't root for your team, but I will root for you. I hope you have a great season. But super nice guy.
hmm
So I'm
No.
rooting for him to get a ring, man.
Yeah.
I
No.
hope he gets a ring. I think that'd be so
I
cool.
yeah. I love me some Samaje. I loved him as a Sooner and love him. Yeah. He's just a
He is
he's I love.
humble, classy,
Yep.
classy guy.
And staying on running backs for the Chiefs, Kareem Hunt's just one of them guys that brings his lunch pail and just runs hard on every down. And
Yeah,
so I sit here and you know don't talk well about the Chiefs running game, but Pacheco, Hunt, Perine are all NFL running backs capable. It's just been one of those areas that gets overlooked every now and then. And
yeah,
and Mahomes, what not this past game, but the game before that, man, he had a great game, running.
yeah,
I
yeah,
think he ran for a couple scores. So he's often forgotten when it comes to, Chiefs running game, and he'll of course show up a couple of times on
yeah.
Sunday. So uh,
Yeah,
yeah,
you wanna go to some franchise talk?
yeah. So dynasties, it now that the Chiefs are getting ready to potentially, three-peat, which has never been done before, and it'll be what, the fourth in 5 years? Is that correct, Rob? Fourth Super
It
Bowl win
would
in five
be,
years, or fourth and six?
oh my gosh, I knew you
I
were gonna
think it'll be
ask
the
me.
fourth and six. No, I think it'll be the fourth in five
We
years
it
because I
we
because I thought
would've,
they because I know they lost to Tampa, and
yeah, we lost it, yeah, hold on. This is gonna bother me.
I should have that in front of me if I'm going to throw it out there. But
Okay.
so
So we've been to, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 in the last 6.
okay,
It goes back to 2020. So 20 was our first Super Bowl victory versus
hmm
the 49ers. We went
hmm
back and lost to Tom Brady. Then the next one we did not make it because it was Joe Burrow show, and then
Ah,
the last two we've won. So it would
okay.
be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the last 6, trying to win 4 in the last 6,
6. Okay.
3 in a row.
Yeah. So I'll have to pull up. Oh, you got it there. Cool. Um, so yeah, the there's probably there's three of the probably best 5 dynasties that have been around. Green Bay makes a case in the 60s, but you have New England, which you're not going to get a lot of people to argue with their almost 20-year run with Brady and
Mhm.
Belichick, going 6-3. No one, of course, has won 6 Super Bowls. And then that win rate down there is, they won 31% during their reign, which is every 3 years, which is just nuts. And then, of course, you have the Steelers of the 70s, which I was a Cowboy fan, so they ruined my season a couple of times. I was a young
Mhm.
guy back then, but they went undefeated during their reign in the 70s, and they won 50% of the time. So, and then 49ers, they had a good run there, mostly 80s into the 90s, but had a 5-0 Super Bowl record with Joe Montana, Steve Young, Jerry Rice, and all those guys were just loaded with talent. So those are the 3 that seem to surface depending on what you look at. So yeah, if the Chiefs do three-peat, you start putting them in the conversation with these 3.
Yeah, for sure.
I think you could make them, I don't know, 2A, 3A, or whatever if they win. I don't know. They don't approach New England yet, but I think they're in the conversation with the 49ers and Steelers. I don't know if you feel the same way or not, but
Yeah, I mean, if they get this three-peat and they've won 4 in the last 6 years or 4 in the last 5 trips, 4 in the last 5 trips would be 80%.
mm-hmm.
That's way more than these 3 teams.
Yeah,
It's it's a clip that hasn't been seen before. I mean,
it's like
that's pretty wild.
a shorter time frame, but like dominance during that time frame. So,
Yeah.
how do you weigh that against some of these longer
Yeah.
dynasties? But
You
I
just
put
gotta
them,
wait,
yeah,
but yeah.
I put them up
I
there in
I
the
think
conversation.
I think I think if they win this three-peat, I think you could probably slot them, in between 2 and 3.
Mm-hmm.
Some, with yeah, probably in between 2 and 3, but over time, you know, win or lose tomorrow, the Chiefs are gonna end up going back to another Super Bowl.
Sure.
Mahomes is just too good. But if he's winning it tomorrow and in a couple of years goes and gets another one, now you're really starting to look
Yep.
at versus the Patriots and what they did
Mm-hmm.
for several years. So
Yeah. If they don't
yeah,
approach it,
it's amazing run.
if
It's
they don't
history.
approach, they could easily approach that top spot during Mahomes' career for sure.
Yeah.
Um, and you know, Reed's got a couple more years probably coaching. He never commits to whatever, so it's going to be curious to see who the heir apparent is to Andy Reid.
I don't even want to
You don't want to think about
bother.
it. Yeah.
No. I don't as long as Reed is coaching, I think Kelsey is gonna be coming back. I think Spags will come back. I think as long as he's coming back for another year and he doesn't look like a guy that's gonna give up football anytime soon. He's already been asked that through the Super Bowl media days, already said, "I'm coming back." Like,
Mm-hmm.
stop it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if you're gonna look at Aaron and Perine, I think it's obvious Spags would be the
Uh-huh.
head coach. I just don't think um, you want to keep the continuity and the relationships of the defense and everything off. Like he's already there. He's gonna get a gold jacket. I mean, it just makes sense
Sure.
for him to be the next guy. But I don't want to think about that, man. Ugh,
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
I want to keep
that's
rolling.
Yeah,
I don't
no
even. How
sense in it.
old is Andy Reid? How
Yeah.
is he?
60. I don't think he's in his
66.
70s. Yeah. Yeah.
66.
Yeah, he's getting up there. Yeah, very likable guy. I don't care who you root for. I think Andy's, you know,
Oh yeah.
just a likable guy, likable coach. Belichick, he's gruffy. I can see people not liking him for a lot of reasons, but excuse me. Um, hey, do you want to get in predictions before we kind of wrap things up here?
Yeah, let's go in predictions. You go
Would you
first.
like? I knew you were going to say that. I was hoping you would go first. So no, I just you know history would be great and everything, especially for you and the Chiefs, and getting back to back to back, get the three-peat and everything. But I don't know. I just feel like this Eagles team is. I don't want to say a team of destiny or anything weird like that, but I just think they have everything you need to win a championship. Like it's hard to find a lot of chinks in their armor. They they just don't have a lot. Um, you could say Jaden's not a great passer, but man, he's thrown some. He had one in that championship game, just a dime to AJ Brown that helped win that game. But I
Yeah.
just really like this. I just really like this Eagles team, and if I'm throwing out like a score prediction, I've been stuck on this all week and I'm not going to get off of it, but I just see like a 27-21 Eagles victory with
Mhm.
actually the opportunity for it to get out of hand, Rob. And
Whoa.
yeah, I know that's a sort of a bold take, but maybe not really. But you know, I know the Chiefs got kind of routed by the Bucks, a few years ago down in Tampa in the Super Bowl, but I could see this getting a little, yeah, one-sided at one point. Just, yeah,
Dang.
I know. And Chiefs defense is good, so I know that's kind of a, going out on a limb saying something like that. But if either team, if this ends up kind of in a lopsided victory, I think it's in favor of the Eagles. I just don't see the Chiefs running away from the Eagles or anything
Hmm.
like that. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I'm going to say 27-21 with, the outside chance of it turning into a 17-point decisive victory.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, that's
So you know who I'm picking.
of
Like
course.
that's obvious. But um I'll go ahead and pull this up. So this is at our friends at KCSN, Kansas City Sports Network. This guy's name is Joseph Hefe. He's been helping us with our dashboard and stuff. Really cool guy. He's all, you know, uh into the advanced stats, and I wanted to pull this up because if you look at all the advanced metrics, like the Eagles are supposed to win this game. Like every number cruncher, every nerd
Hmm.
looking at every stat imaginable says the Eagles are supposed to win. And the reason why some of them still pick the Chiefs is because of Mahomes
Hmm.
and Reed
Hmm.
and Spags.
Hmm.
And that they've seen this exact table the last 3 years or the last
Sure.
2 years. They've seen that statistically speaking, the stats and the better roster, the talent,
Hmm.
the Chiefs have already beaten twice. They beat the Eagles in 57,
Yep.
Super Bowl 57, and they had the better roster and they had the better advanced metrics. Going to the next one, San Francisco 49ers from top down had the better
Hmm.
roster
Hmm.
and the better statistics. But time and time again, Mahomes and Reed and Spags and Chris Jones and Kelsey, the Gold
Yep.
Jackets,
Yep. Yep.
just win. And it's unexplainable. Like you don't know why. So you look at this, I mean, the Eagles are like a top 1 or 2 or 3 defense in every single category from explosive plays prevented to rushing to EPA to exploited points, everything. Overall success rate,
Hmm.
top 1, 2, 3 defense in every single category. Chiefs defense 15, 16, 16, 16, 23,
Sure.
22, 27, 15. I mean, but that's been the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, yeah. Now you're not going to get an argument from me with the we've mentioned
Yeah.
them over and over again.
And I think at the end of the day, Mahomes and you mentioned you were going to be corny saying it, but I just think it's destiny. I think they're the team of destiny. They're going to make it happen. It's and I think it's going to be a closer game. I'm looking at like a 29-26 Chiefs. I
Mhm.
think it's going to be another one score game that they pull out. I think it's going to be for the Chiefs. It's going to look ugly at times, but the Chiefs are one of the best teams that play complementary football. When they were about to lose against Denver early, halfway through the season, what happened? They blocked the field goal and they won.
Mhm.
You go back to another game, it was a pick six. Another game, Mahomes had a game-winning drive and scored a touchdown. Like have won in so many different ways that it's so hard to count them out no matter what the stats are and everything. They are a very well-coached team,
Yeah.
and they've got some seriously good players. Give me Mahomes, give me that coaching staff.
Mhm.
I think they do it one more time and they make history.
Yeah. And I intentionally stayed away from the whole referee narrative. I
That's
just
so
I didn't
stupid.
want to bring that up on our pod, so I wasn't going to. I stayed away from that. I'd like to give you a hard time about it just because it's fun,
Yeah, I
but
know.
um, yeah, they've maybe gotten some marginal calls, whatever, but you can go through and look at almost every game, and there's a lot of that goes on. But
Yeah, yeah.
um, so if Chiefs win by 3, like you're predicting, and there's some little questionable call at the end of the game,
Oh,
you know exactly what the
yeah,
narrative will
yeah.
be.
Oh, absolutely.
So no, I think it'll be a fantastic game. It's probably the two best teams at the end of the day. I know Detroit and other teams want to stake their claim, of course, to being one of the better teams, but these look like the two best teams that should be here. So I'm excited for it. It's an easy watch for me because I don't have a diehard team that I've rooted for over the years. I just get to sit back
Mhm.
and watch things play out. I know for you it'll be nerve wracking. Yeah, you're gonna have to do a lot of that. What you just did there tomorrow.
Sipping whiskey. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so any other takes before we get off here?
No, I mean, it's just it's a fun time seeing that many Sooners get a
Hmm.
chance at a ring.
Hmm.
I mean, that makes it really, really cool. We've always had some good number of Sooners, but I don't remember a time
Right.
we've had this many. Usually it's like 3 or 4, but it's not just that many, but some of these players have some really I mean, like you can't get more significant than a starting quarterback,
Right.
the veteran starting right tackle, the best offensive lineman for the Chiefs is Creed right now. I mean, it's
Hmm.
just very, very important roles to both sides, and I hope they all take a picture together. I hope they get
Yeah.
them all together
Yeah.
and do the
Yeah. That'll
jersey
be.
thing.
Hmm.
That'd be super cool. I hope
No, that'll
somebody
be
gets a
one
shot of that.
we'll have to keep that one posted up on
Yeah,
our site for a little while if that happens. But yeah, I
yeah,
think James Winchester's could be a 4-time Super Bowl champ. Like
yeah.
when he was playing for the Sooners, is that what you thought? James Winchester, 4-time Super Bowl champion.
No,
He's a backup tight end. I want to say he like threw a pass in the Missouri game. Is that the same Winchester, or is that a wrong Winchester I'm thinking of? It was like a
I have
fake
no
field
idea.
goal type thing. There was a James and a Chris Winchester, I think. But anyway, I'll have to look it up. But yeah, he had a
Huh,
cool. If it's the same guy, I'll probably ought to
yeah,
shut up in case it's like the other Winchester. But um, no, it's you're right. It's exciting times. No one's ever no one's ever had the opportunity to three-peat. The Chiefs have already made history getting to the
yeah. That's
Super
true.
Bowl.
Yeah,
Um, but Yeah, Chiefs Kingdom and you and everybody else, and if they win, I'm happy for you and all your gang you'll have over there tomorrow. I know you'll be enjoying that.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and of course, it won't bother me too much. I just wanted to take the Eagles side for our podcast so we
Well,
could have a little bit
yeah.
counterpoint, whatever.
Well, even if the Chiefs were to lose tomorrow, I'm still gonna be really happy for Hurts. I mean, I'm kind of in this win-win. So like even if the Eagles were to get it, I don't like Eagles fans. I think Philadelphia Eagles fans are like the worst fan base of all time.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid to say that. They're terrible. But for
Excuse
Lane Johnson and
me.
Hurts to get rings, it's like, I mean, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. No, I'm with you with the fan base there. They're pretty nasty. It's
They're
it's
pretty bad.
ironic to me they're called the city of brotherly love because if you're an opposing team, go there and visit. there is no there is no
No,
love, brotherly or any other kind that you're gonna feel when you're at tailgating before the game. Um, that just makes me laugh a little bit. So
yeah.
um, no,
Yeah,
I
I mean,
think it'll be great. Yeah,
yeah, it's gonna be a fun game. Super Bowls are always fun. They're always
yeah,
fun.
yeah.
This is gonna be a good one. Like this is gonna be a really good one.
Yeah.
They've already played each other. The
Mhm.
Eagles have already gotten some experience now. Serrani's got an experience. Andy kind of took him to the woodshed in the last Super Bowl. I mean, he completely was it Jonathan Gannon was the defensive coordinator, and Andy Reid just schematically just torched him with
Yeah.
the corn dog play. They called it
Right.
corn dog, which was just a fake motion in and then go out. I mean, it was not anything that was, spectacular, but they called it like 3 times and took advantage of it. That's where those advanced stats kind of miss things
Don't matter.
where
Yep.
coaching and play
Yep.
calling and just, it
Yeah.
I mean,
I-
it's
In
gonna be a good one though.
Philly's defense, Reed has taken many people behind the woodshed in his day. So it's
Yes,
don't feel
yes.
bad, guys. You're not the only ones that have been yeah, given a
Outcoached.
master class by Mr. Reed. But
Right.
yeah, so no, let's wrap things up.
Okay.
Appreciate everybody tuning in. This was a Super Bowl version of Champion Standard. You only get one of these a year, so we just want to kind of bring in the OU narrative within the game. And there's plenty of guys, crimson and cream on both sides. So appreciate everybody tuning in, and I hope everybody enjoys the Super Bowl tomorrow. Hopefully, it's everything it's built up to be. So thanks again. Enjoy your weekend. Be safe tomorrow. Boomer Sooner.
Thanks, guys.